everyone, and welcome to Wellness Unscripted. I'm Cara Merak, a functional medicine nurse and the owner and founder of Unscripted Clinic. Our guest today is Vanessa Tymczyszyn. She's a psychotherapist and advanced Buti instructor. Vanessa also owns a private practice called Vanessa Estes Psychotherapy, where she holistically treats a range of mental health issues, everything from anxiety, depression, trauma, to life transitions, mood, and personality disorders. And she specializes in cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy, and mindfulness. So Vanessa combines her expertise in the psychotherapy world and Buti to offer a unique integrative approach, and I'm so excited to talk to her today. So welcome, Vanessa.
Thanks for having me.
So today we're talking about Buti. And if you guys haven't heard of Buti, like me, as of a couple weeks ago, it's spelled B-U-T-I, and you're in for a real treat. It's a super high energy somatic practice that fuses dynamic yoga asanas with primal movements and cardio dance. It's like an all-in-one wellness practice. I recently had the pleasure of taking one of Vanessa's Buti classes, and it was an absolute blast. It was so much fun. So Vanessa, I'd like to hear a little bit about what Buti is and how is it different from other practices?
Yeah, I love how you described it. It was an all-in-one, and I mean, I know there's smiles all over the room, including you. So it's magic, honestly. We'll just leave it at that. But Buti is a somatic movement practice that's completely its own being. Like you described, the class is a blend of primal movement, dynamic yoga asana. When we move through the asanas, rather than like a vinyasa, but more of from one pose to the other, we've got cardio sprints, deep abdominal toning, dance, and as you noticed, it's also like a really banging playlist. So um, what's really important to note is it's not like booty like your butt. Thanks for spelling it. Booty
Yeah.
is an Indian Marathi word that means a cure that has been hidden or kept secret. So
Like for those that don't know, what is a somatic practice?
yeah, somatic is another kind of, I mean, it's really a buzzword right now, but really, Buti has always been somatic, meaning of the body. So, and holistically, all of the different layers of the body. So, when we say like a cure that has been hidden or kept secret, we're talking about energetic healing from a cellular level. So, through dance, through yoga, through holds, through muscle burnout, through HIIT, also in a group practice and getting out of your head and into your body, you're healing yourself from the inside out through movement versus, you know, meditation or chanting. We're moving our body and really getting into our body and out of our head.
So the day I was there, it was hot. I mean, it's summer in Seattle. It was hot outside, but the studio was also really hot. I think it was like 90 degrees or something in there. Is that typical of a Buti practice, or was that just circumstantial that day?
That was circumstantial that day. We do offer a hot Buti practice, which I noted at the beginning of the class. So normally a Buti class would be like what we'd say room temperature. So traditional Buti, we're no higher than 82 degrees. Anything 82 and higher turns into hot Buti where we're not cardio sprinting, we're not utilizing plyometrics. So we always had something on the ground, a hand or a foot, but we still challenged ourselves and moved through primal movement, dynamic yoga asana, and deep abdominal toning. And it was still the same playlist. I just had to make sure we didn't jump off the floor.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I would have
It was,
slipped
yeah,
and
that was
fallen right back on the floor.
exactly. Yeah, safety is still important and it's really hot. And I like to stay mindful of what's happening with my students.
So bouncing off that safety comment too, I have taken, all sorts of different exercise classes, everything from, bar, Pilates, yoga, CrossFit, you kind of name it. I've been in the exercise space for a long time, and I found it really challenging. I think the thing that I was missing was the dance. I've not been in dance, you know, exercise before, and that was a big piece of it. But it's really fast paced. And there's a lot of movements that are like vaguely similar to things I've done before, but a little bit different. So how do you balance, like, if I was a truly new person, what advice would you give me going into my first Buti class?
Well, first things first is that you're not alone. Like you weren't the only first timer in that class. And it helped that I knew you because we do have our volleyball background. So your experience as a setter and all of those trainings we've had, Buti is like that extra challenge for those with an athletic background because you want something that makes you want to drive forward, to push yourself to your limit. And that's what the music does.
Mhm.
So for people who are brand new, I keep an eye on them. I make sure they're close by me because if you notice, it is fast paced. We like some asanas, we face the mirror, like triangle, rather than putting you in a position where you're gonna like try and look at me to see what I'm doing.
Mhm.
I want to make sure you are close by me, either right behind me or right next to me in the mirror so that you can actually see what's going on, not to like try to mimic exactly what I'm doing and feel like you're performing, but just to get also so I can have eyes on you and you can mark where my hands and feet are. Because that's actually the very first thing is keeping your foundation with your hands and your feet. And as well as what I shared that day is everything we do comes from our core. That's going to protect your
Mhm.
back. That's going to give you that full inner heat. So you build that fire from the inside out. I had a student the other day who hadn't done it before, and she came out and was like, I've never sweated before. Like I take hot yoga, I work out a lot, but I've never sweated like that before. And it was hot, obviously, but she's been in a hot class and she engaged her core. She did everything we did, and it was her first time. So yeah, I love having new students and having them just come out with like the big smiles and like you did after that, after Shavasana. Wow, that was brand new for me. And I had so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. What I loved about it was the element of like getting out of my box because I can be a little analytical sometimes. I can fall into a little bit of a buttoned up kind of personality. Like when you were doing some of the yelping and the pounding and stuff, and I'm like, ooh, that's really good vagal nerve activation. And it's like, and it snapped me out of that to just be like, hey, free up a little bit and just relax and just own your space rather than getting out of my left brain lane.
I love that because it also integrates what you know about the nervous system and what kind of regulation you might need. And so you spoke exactly to like, why are we doing this stuff? Why are we hitting the ground? Why are we yelping? Why are we shaking? And you knew the benefits. You went for it. I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you because it takes a lot.
Yeah.
I sometimes people say, I'm not comfortable enough to make any sounds yet, but today I might. I'm like, okay, do it. I'm here for you. That's why I'm
Yeah.
making all the sounds to encourage you. So that, I mean, your throat chakra is important. You should be able to voice yourself and express yourself, your true self, without holding back. So that's what that
Yeah.
container's for as well.
Yeah. Can you share with us a little bit about your journey into Buti? I know that you've been a yoga instructor for a long time, but how did you find Buti and what got you into that?
Oh my goodness. It was like a booty ambush, which I love also providing to people. But I had been teaching yoga and I love making playlists and challenging my students in fun, funky, creative ways because I taught at 6 a.m. and they were a party. They wanted something fun to wake them up. So a friend knew that I was, well, let me back it up. I went to my hometown in Port Angeles and there was a boutique studio that I took one of their classes and then they're like, hey, Vanessa, you should stay after. It's Buti. I think you'd like it. And I mean, my first impression was like, there's no way. Why are we taking jumping jacks and downward dog? This isn't safe. And I left like, oh, well, that was super fun and really cool. I was a little tired because I'd already done a class, but then immediately I looked it up and tried to understand the community. That was what my instructor also told me is there's like a whole Facebook community of certified instructors. And so a friend then was like, hey, I think you're going to say yes to this. Let's go get certified. So we drove like 6 or 8 hours to somewhere in Oregon to get certified. And it's a 2-day weekend. And the rest is history. It was so amazing. Like those certification weekends are everything. I've been to like umpteen of them since then. And it starts off with a 90-minute masterclass, and that just immediately gets you out of your head and sweating
Yeah.
and hugging everybody around you. So yeah, since then I've also, attended advanced trainings. I've been certified in all 6 of their formats because I am on my way to being a master trainer. I have one more full assist, so you'll see me leading a training sometime soon, and under the supervision of another trainer. And then I'll be leading and traveling to lead more bodhisattvas. So that's my plan.
How planned are your classes? Do you go in with like a strict class, like movement playlist kind of?
I love that question because it also comes up when we're certifying people. Like, how much can I plan? You only plan your playlist. The rest,
Hmm.
the formula is already in your body, and that's what we do during cert weekend is you learn all of those pieces of primal movement, dynamic asana, cardio sprints, cardio dance, and all the deep abdominal toning. So you learn the arc of a class, and as you notice through the playlist, like we warm up, we get all the joints warm, and then we sort of build. There's definitely a peak in there, and then we pull it on down. So honestly, if I planned anything, and I've tried like maybe with yoga too, like a vinyasa classes, writing stuff down. If I write that down, it is guaranteed to not happen. Especially for booty. I will listen to songs for a booty class and think, oh, this would be a really fun little sequence. And that will definitely not happen. I'll be in that song and then get way in my head. And so that's the whole point is I'm doing the class with you. My body will know what feels good. And then we also balance it out. So you think you noticed too, we never went like right to left. It's not linear. So that was also the
Yeah.
goal for somebody who identifies as really analytical and buttoned up, or, just I need to know what's going to happen. I'm there to
Yeah.
keep you on your toes
That
and
made me uncomfortable.
good.
That
Yes.
definitely
And
got
then
me out of my box. I'm like, oh no, we're not going to the other side. Are we going to get to the other side?
yes. And that's the thing. You might, it's like an hour later, you're like, oh, we're finally doing the left leg. Okay. So it happens. And that's exactly the reason is to keep you on your toes, to keep you out of your head and into your body. Yeah.
So it's an unscripted class, if you will.
Totally unscripted. If like we will not let people plan their demos. They have
Yeah.
to just plan the playlist. The playlist drives the class 100%.
Okay, I love it. So going into more of the physiologic benefits of it, we research is telling us how detrimental stored traumas can be, and we're learning more and more about that. Can you talk into a little bit of how Buti can help your clients or your trainees recover from trauma?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously there's different levels of trauma. I'm not going to put somebody that's in severe trauma to just be like, come and take a yoga class and be really vulnerable with everybody.
Yeah.
However, we do, as Buti instructors, we take our leadership and our class space very seriously, as I do with my yoga as well, but it's in our core values to give, try to not give you your autonomy, but maintain your autonomy in how you can be safe in the class.
Mhm.
Another thing is the physiology. That's what you asked. Oh, my favorite, our static shake. So you notice we shake in down dog, we shake in our wide-legged fold. Also, those are vulnerable places to shake. So if people
Mhm.
don't want to shake in those positions, we stand up, we move, we jump, we do all the things to lubricate the fascia, to regulate our nervous system, to release all of that stored trauma in our joints, in our tissues, especially in the hips. And by also integrating the core and our awareness of our energy centers through the center of our body, we start with safety. We start by activating Mula Bandha, which is your root block, your first chakra, which represents safety and grounding. So we ground down, hold the space, and then you're able to release. And like you said, you might not feel comfortable, which might be another word for a similar word to safe, not fully safe or comfortable to make a noise or hit the ground or fully extend your arm or shake or jump or do the dance moves that I'm doing. So allowing you to get out of your head and into your body and rebuild that relationship with your body and your nervous system. So allowing yourself to be there. And if you heard, I probably throw in some affirmations too that
Mhm.
um, hopefully are well timed. I'm not trying to talk at you the entire class, but acknowledging that I see you and that you're in the presence of others and connect. For me, also, if I'm in a class, ideally with mirrors and seeing my own body moving, I build a relationship with my body to the strength that I find in a Buti class, of pushing myself, from challenging myself to having fun, that's pain-free. That's been a lot for me at least. And I hear a lot from other folks too. That's what they experience, is the freedom to just be themselves in this container.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're new to practice, and maybe always, maybe if you're old to practice too, but if you're loosening up that fascia and you're getting into the joints in different ways, is it likely that it's releasing things that you're going to need to flush out and kind of take note of for later?
Absolutely. I love that you asked that. Oh my goodness, I can't wait for you to come to class again. Because you are releasing, you're doing some lymphatic drainage, you're releasing tension in the tissues. Like I always say at the hips, right? Because the hips hold so much and the
Yeah.
pelvis especially. And so that's why that spiral structure technique as well, when we're moving through our hips, moving through our core, um, releasing, I mean, we're also releasing lactic acid. I like to think of like picturing it as it's pooling after that muscle burnout, like shake it, don't let it pool there.
Yeah.
You're releasing the trauma and the stored emotions in the cells. And that's where our breath also gets integrated. So
Hmm.
you're actively with that gas exchange, we're transferring energy. I might have also said that in class, is that the energy you're releasing, the emotions, they don't just like disappear. We get to release them energetically into the universe or into the ether, or whatever is in our space, the air,
Hmm.
to be transformed into something different. And together, as we're all releasing something, we're also transforming something with our movement, with our intentions, and with our breath in that final shavasana where we actually get to just settle and be and let ourselves reintegrate who we are without all that stuff that we just released.
Hmm.
And that's another part of being a leader, is just being there. And that's why I do take my role as a therapist seriously. I'm not going to take you aside and have a full therapy session, but I am here to see and empathize. You might be going through something, or like if I see somebody breathing heavy in shavasana, I might go sit by them and offer just a hand or just presence. And that's another part of our core values, is offering that unwavering presence to the people in our class, to the people we train with, and to each other as peers and leaders. And also in our community, honestly, the core values go off of the mat as well. So just allowing that presence so that you can feel safe before you go out to the world all raw and open.
Yeah. One thing I've always loved about you, Vanessa, is how your your presence is so intentional and so open. So like just being around you feels comforting and like you can be your authentic self. So that's something I really appreciate about you. And I love that you found a way through Buti to share that with others and through your psychotherapy practice as well. I know that that is um, another huge benefit of your gifts too. But that must lead to some really strong community. Are you finding that, you know, you kind of get Buti converts and people that are totally, they dive deep into Buti?
Absolutely. And thank you for all that affirmation. That was such sweet words, especially coming from someone I've known so long. And especially in Buti, I do feel like I get to be my whole self, whereas therapy, there are more boundaries. So
Hmm.
with Buti, that is the biggest thing, is that it is community over competition. So at Buti Certs, I love getting to share that with others. Like I walk into a room and I at this point in, practicing for, I'm at like 8 years now. I know a lot of people in the Buti community. We like to go audit and support at certs. So we walk in and it's like bestie time, but there's those people who are getting certified for the first time, and I see them and they see us like, oh, who are all those people? They all know each other and I'm brand new. I'm gonna go introduce myself to you and say hi. And I got to do that a few weekends ago, because I don't want people to feel like they're gonna feel nervous. This is a new thing, but it's really important that they know there's abundance in this space, in Buti, in the world. There's room for everybody and your own personal gifts. And that's what I told every person I met at a certification a few weeks ago, is that you are here for a reason and you have so much to offer, whether or not you get like, you know, a perfect score on your demo or like you nail a yoga pose in perfect alignment. So just knowing that you're here for one thing, but you're going to leave with a huge community. Because there's a bunch of nervousness and tension around like I have to perform a demo class. All of us could pass, all of us could need to resubmit a video, or some and most. But that's the thing is there's room for everyone. So it's not like it even matters if someone's better than you. There's no comparison. We're here to support each other. And that's also part of being a leader in Buti is that I'm going to help the next person up. And like exactly as you said, Buti converts. One of our core values is that I just love this one a lot, is that true leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders. And so the biggest compliment I can get is from a student is that they want to get certified. And especially if it's coming from someone who's never taught any type of fitness in their life. And that is actually what's most amazing about the Buti certifications. You can tell I love these weekends. They're the best thing ever. Is people walk in who have never taught anything in their life. I walked in having a yoga background, but I've never taught like a high energy fitness class and, you know, instructed. And then they walk out after a 15-minute demo with a playlist, teaching a class, and it's so empowering to see. So honestly, if I hear like my students, not only do they like my classes, but then they're going to support other teachers and support each other and they make friends. That's what I want and that's the goal. And so whenever that happens, I feel completely affirmed in my teaching and that I'm doing it well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful to hear you say that and see how it lights you up too. I love that.
It does. It does.
Have you noticed any overlaps in your Buti practice and your psychotherapy practice?
Mostly how it's affected me. I think I've just had more confidence in leadership. Um, and I've got a better understanding of the psychosomatic integration of the mind and the body, which is really what brought me to yoga in the first place, was the mind body
Mhm.
connection. Then it led me to be a therapist, and then then I found Buti. So what's beautiful about Buti is we talked about like a somatic practice and noticing like where you're holding trauma or tension in your body. Since I do keep a pretty firm boundary between my yoga students and my therapy clients, that's been a bit of a struggle for me. However, I am currently going through their somatic practitioner training where I will get to, I think what I plan to do is integrate that as a practice, which will be even more about understanding trauma in the body, understanding your story, and oh, it's really beautiful. And your nervous system regulation. So a lot about what we do in Buti, but in a sit down one-on-one format, which is also what I've learned through my yoga training as well. Like if I were to do a private yoga class with you, we'd focus on where you're holding tension, what your body looks like. Are you holding shoulders up at different angles, or you're babying a hip or a knee? And what's the story behind that? Maybe we go
Mhm.
back to when you were 5 and you fell down or something like that. So that's a growing relationship for me. But the overlap really is for me to have a little bit more confidence through building my Buti practice and understanding a little bit more about the body so I can just inform people. Um, I'd say that's sort of my overlap because I try to keep it pretty separate because it's very
Mhm.
different. I haven't super welcomed somebody in the Buti space that is also my therapy client.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I always have to remind my clients too that like when you hold stress in the body, it's not just like, hey, go sit in front of the TV to de-stress.
Oh, yes.
Like de-stressing is an active process. So you have to actually do something to help reset your nervous system because sitting in front of, some trash TV on Netflix or something might feel relaxing in the moment, but it's not doing anything for your nervous system. And when we get stuck in that fight or flight or that sympathetic mode, you know, and any number of dysfunctions can come after that. And it's so common for us now when we're expected to be on all the time and hyper productive and always available on your phone and all these things that are really stimulating and that can really build up. So I think that's what I was responding to also in the Buti practice, that the one class that I came and took with you, was that it got me, it really felt like I could break free from that. And it was a nice way to actively shift myself into a more parasympathetic, rest and digest kind of a nervous system pattern.
That's perfect. Oh, that's again a huge compliment that you were able to get there, because that's the goal. And like you said too, if people are choosing like trash TV, honestly, then you're taking on some almost like vicarious trauma through the drama you're watching. And that's just
Yeah.
not really, what you would do if you were like scrolling too. Like it activates your nervous system in another way.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to find ways that you can release. And I guess I would say I kind of space that this is the breath work when it comes to yoga and also in Buti. That part is something I incorporate in my practice. So whenever I'm with my therapy clients, I will put on my yoga hat of like, I do have a background with breathing, being able to talk about mindfulness or meditation, to be able to sit with those emotions and notice when you are in fight or flight, and how you can reset and what that actually feels like on that journey. Because it is something you can't just be like, oh, hey, like snap out of it. There is a
Yeah.
process, like you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. And even the breath work takes practice to do. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, every breath work practice is different, and it takes some time to master the one that's right for you.
Yeah, I'm sure most of the time you hate it first and you probably need
Hmm.
it. And then eventually you get the benefits from it and enjoy it. So all practices, they need some persistence to get into it.
Can you tell me a little bit about how Buti incorporates the elements of chakra balancing? I know that, it's a little bit therapy, a little bit mobility, a little bit cardio, but how does the chakra balancing come into it?
Yeah. So I mentioned before, like when we start our practice, I will talk about Muladhara, or your root chakra. So starting from chakra number one. And in our practice, we do understand like, well, we learn about the nadi channels that go up through the center of the body. And I mean, I could go down a whole rabbit hole, but we tap into what each of the chakras mean. And when I'm teaching my class, I use that through words, through movement, and through mudras. So even as simple as tapping your heart and talking about your heart chakra, your chakra number 4, and being able to understand that that's where you hold love, where you hold yourself, where you love yourself or receive, and noticing what you're holding in that space. If you're feeling tight, do you need to spiral? Can we tap and wake it up? Um, so we go from, generally, when I make, when we say it's unscripted, I do have some methods to the madness of, we start with our root chakra and we'll work our way up through sacral. So with some hip spirals and movement. So, and then solar plexus, you'll hear me say something about your self-worth, your heart, your throat, third eye, and transcending through the crown to finish it off, which is also something we're sort of doing in Shavasana as well, just by breathing and being there. So by balancing the chakras, or by through the movement practice with mudras, with movement, intentionally segmenting the body in different ways that represent our chakras in our body and those energy centers. And if I do plan a class, it might be around a certain chakra, or maybe around a theme. So maybe it is self-love, or maybe it is about getting out of your own way and honoring your truth and your personal power, or maybe it is about being more sensual. So like sometimes we might see, like if a class is very sacral chakra focused, we might warn people like, you're very open there. So if you are trying to get pregnant, then that's your time. But if you're not, take precautions, because we've opened up that space. Your sexual energy is very powerful. So it doesn't always have to be about sex, but that energy center is very strong. And so that's just little things that it's really amazing how you can truly do your own healing through your practice.
Mm-hmm. So there is a lot of, hip circles and chest, rib circles and stuff like that, which seems a little bit more like some feminine movements to me. Is there men that practice booty, or is this more a female focused practice, or what's your experience been with that?
Yeah, there's been a lot of women in the practice, but now male bodies are coming in, and I would have like men come in that at first they're like, well, that's for women, but we do honor the masculine and feminine energy for all genders, honestly, but honoring that energy. So even through chakras or mudras or spiraling to the left, we might focus on feminine energy, close it off to the right with masculine energy. So while it does feel feminine, right? The little spirals like almost gives a little belly dancing feel.
Mhm.
It's honestly just a really deep abdominal workout because we're focusing on the micro muscles of the deep core through transverse abdominals, not just your six pack, but the internal external obliques, your pelvic floor, your diaphragm, everything's working together. And so I just had recently, maybe that was your classes, the class you came to, where I had one of the CrossFitters come in, and he was really vibing, and I'm really glad he was there because he's about to do a competition. So I want that's also why our studio's in a CrossFit gym. And I love when I can get CrossFitters to come to Booty to increase their mobility. I have to be doing Booty if I'm doing CrossFit because my hips will be so locked up if I'm not
Mhm.
spiraling and moving. So I would say that it increases their athleticism through strengthening their core and also loosening up their hips. For me, that helps my low back.
Mhm.
And men often like might be intimidated, but then you just get a male instructor in there, and then you might see more men in class. I've also had friends who were like transitioning, or maybe they're like actually transitioning from like male to female, and that also was really powerful for them to feel more welcome. That probably speaks more to like the atmosphere of the class and the
Mhm.
like I actually feel like I can express myself and wear just a broad shorts. But yeah, it feels more feminine, but honestly, there are a lot of masculine elements as well. Because I don't think we stomped a lot because again, we're trying to avoid plyometrics, but there's a lot of movement and primal movement that is generally more masculine. So
Mhm.
everybody's welcome in the class.
Hmm. So you've been doing this a little while now. You've done a lot of booty classes, you've done a lot of booty certs and booty weekends. From an instructor's viewpoint, what kind of transformations have you seen and some like common themes that you're seeing of benefits of starting a booty practice?
A lot of them are like what you said about like that feeling, maybe that freedom to even just like use their voice.
Hmm.
So I almost always incorporate throat chakra. And something about that community, people make more friends and they look forward to seeing each other in class.
Mm.
And that just builds on itself to like have a community and have support because then you're also using your voice to talk to people and connect with people. And I think that just helps drive you forward in your path in your journey. Like maybe people need to make some decisions or go after something. Like if there's a friend in class that's like, I've been thinking about starting a business. You're going to get all those booty softas in that room to say, yes, go for it. You can do this. You are more
Yeah.
powerful than you believe. And so people feel safe, I mean, in that community. And so it's a lot of, well, also the body transformations. People are happy to be in their body again.
Yeah.
That's honestly, that was one of the biggest ones is when a friend did tell me that as they were um, transitioning to more of a feminine body, that they actually felt more confident and comfortable in the clothes that they were comfortable in
Hmm.
versus feeling like they needed to show up a certain way. And that is actually the biggest, another thing we really strive for is that you show up as you are.
Yeah.
And there's no judgment. Like that's the whole point. We're not here to judge. We want you to come as you are and express yourself as you are. And I'm gonna love you and accept you and teach you no matter what. People will also tell me they'll have breakthroughs. I think that's probably the biggest
Mm.
transformation. Well, I have a minor claim to fame of getting people to cry in Shavasana. And So I'll come give you a hug. And but that's so beautiful because sometimes they didn't know they needed to cry or they
Mhm.
did and they were working towards that. So, I've showed up to a class like I'm really angry. I got to get some stuff out or I need to release some tears because sometimes it takes work to really get through the layers to finally feel those things because we build up so much defenses. So it's kind of breaking back those layers to get to that true inner healing and that cure that's been hidden under those layers.
Yeah.
So I guess I should say my origin story included like we practice generally in like a bra and shorts, not to be like, look at me, but you have to see your muscles moving and it's also more comfortable. And that didn't happen for me until my certification. I showed up, with shirt and my shirt came off like 10 minutes into the warm up and it's never been on since. And I'm somebody that never was really comfortable showing my body. So that was honestly the biggest transformation for me is that I was able to show up to my 6 a.m. yoga classes and I was just wearing my shorts and my bra. Said, we're going to do booty now and not worrying about skin jiggling or what my stomach looks like because my body's strong and I'm able to do all of these really fun movements. And it doesn't matter if I look like somebody else. So
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people have noticed too. Like when they're able to finally take their shirt off, that's pretty cool to to actually take off a physical layer and be
Yeah.
vulnerable that way. I am so proud of people when they've reached that point. Not they don't have to take their shirt off, but to know that they're releasing a layer is a physical transformation that you get to see.
Yeah. That's really symbolic.
It is, yeah.
Mhm. Where do you see the future of booty going? I know that it seems to me that it's growing, but where do you think it's going?
Yeah, it's absolutely growing. This is actually a really huge year of growth for Buti. The headquarters just got a brand new location over in Sandpoint, Idaho. So I drive over there quite a bit for lots of new things. Um, so one thing that's been popular with Buti is their online video platform. That's where most people know Buti. I've had somebody that's like, I've only done the online tones. The videos are called tones. And then they come and find me. They're like, I didn't know Seattle had Buti. And here I am.
Mhm.
So there are multiple formats. They're always growing and integrating new forms of movement modalities and healing modalities. So I can see Buti with its online platform continuing to be a leader in innovative movement practices, as well as hopefully conquering more studios. It doesn't have to take over any studios, but I want everybody to be able to find a Buti class near them. I'm working on my studio to increase more classes. We just got that weekly class back, and I will bring some more Buti formats. There's a deep restorative practice called deep. It's restorative, but it's also abdominal toning. So rather than like all the upright and plyometrics or muscle burnout, it's a lot of intentional touching, like using your hands to touch across your body to get the opposite side of your brain and build those neural connections, as well as integrating and noticing your muscles deep within your core. So that one's coming soon. Um, what else, man? What can Booty not do with all the leaders that are in in the practice? We're always brainstorming and auditing and learning and sharing and growing. So you'll see more formats coming. And you have the opportunity to take a 200-hour or a 300-hour. So I'll be completing their 300-hour certification next year, starting in January, and it's going to be focused on traditional Chinese medicine and how the meridians and fascia are layered together. And I've
Mhm.
learned that before, but I cannot wait to dive in. 300 hours, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's more than a 200-hour. I keep thinking of
Yeah.
it as a agreement. It's a whole other certification that's just going to improve my practice and understanding of the body, and so you'll see a lot of instructors taking that route as well.
Yeah. Okay, last but not least, other than booty, because I know that you are a booty Zappa, can you give us some of your favorite things that you've built into your daily habits to support your own physical and mental well-being?
Yeah, well, a lot of it's so interesting is now for me, I mentioned to you that I've experienced burnout as a therapist and a compassionate person. So daily habits also include like managing my time really well and being sacred with it.
Mhm.
So if I have see therapy clients in a day, I'm probably not going to teach yoga that day. If I need to be with my kids for X number of hours, I'm probably gonna well, I definitely protect that time. And I don't work and see my kids at the same time. That's just my brain can't do that.
Yeah,
I do CrossFit a lot, mainly because I found a community where we all bring our kids to the CrossFit gym, and
it's fun.
it's like CrossFit Montessori. So I make sure that it's funny that I didn't even intentionally do it, but I do. I see friends, I see other kids, my kids see other kids, and we're exercising. So moving my
Mhm.
body is really important to me. It's something that I've prioritized. Like I keep that time really sacred. And it's also part of my time with my kids where they get to see me taking care of myself and they get to be social. Um, those are some of the biggest things for me. I'd like to say that I'm really sacred about my sleep, but I have chosen to read before bed instead of watching TV. So
That's
I'm really
good.
excited about that because that's something
Yeah.
I'd never done before. And I
Mhm.
really look forward to reading, but I need to be better about my bedtime.
Yeah, life and kids can get in the way of that one pretty easily.
Hmm. Yes, it's our me time.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
short.
exactly. Well, Vanessa, thank you so much for being here. Before we sign off, can you please share with our listeners how they can connect with you and learn more about your therapy practice and your booty classes?
Yeah, so if you or someone you know needs therapy, you can find me on my website, vanessapsychotherapy.com, and schedule a consult. I always offer a free consultation. For all things booty and yoga, you can follow me on Instagram at Vanessa Asana. So like Vanessa, last word is asana underscore. I have a lovely link in my bio there where you can find where I'm doing my retreats, where I'm doing workshops, where I'm teaching. I always do booty pop-ups because once a week just truly isn't enough. And if like I talked so much about booty cert, so if you're interested in getting certified or want to learn more about booty, go to thebootymovement.com. Remember, it's BUTI movement.com. And I have a discount code for you. It's Vanessa T, like Tymczyszyn. Vanessa T for 10% off any certification, including the 300-hour or 200-hour. I'd love to have you. And please reach out. Honestly, if you have any questions, come find me in Renton as well. I'd love to have anybody in class. The more the merrier.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there again. I'm going to have to shed some of these layers next time.
Yes, you work hard and you deserve you time.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for listening. I hope today's conversation with Vanessa has inspired you to take control of your health journey. Remember, whether you're looking to rewrite your health script or add unscripted chapters to your wellness journey, we're here to guide you. If this conversation sparked any questions, comments, or suggestions for future episodes, we'd love to hear it. So drop a comment below or find us on social media at wellness.unscripted. Don't forget to subscribe for more health tips and inspiration. And if you'd like to learn more about me and my clinic, visit unscriptedclinic.com or follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Unscripted Clinic. Thanks everyone. Bye. The content provided in this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Always seek the guidance of a qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding your health or a medical condition. The hosts and guests are not responsible for any adverse effects from the use of this information.